Falls of the Ohio. The Falls of the Ohio was a shipping port for riverboat traffic. The river reached from the urban northeast to New Orleans. The Falls of the Ohio was a turnpike that was provided for year-round traveling. Steamboats travel on these waters. These steamboats use turbines. The turbines are rotated by the energy in the river's currents. Check out these currents. They're so powerful. In this building behind me, there are turbines. These turbines are one of our energy sources. The energy from the turbine make electricity, and this electricity is ran through our city. The enhancement of the steamboat's turbine was by James Watt. James Watt making these enhancements made transporting cargo much easier. Before James Watt had made these enhancements, horses and oxen had to carry this cargo from one destination to another. This took too many days. The cargo that oxen and horses were carrying was shoes and clothing. Carrying all the clothing and shoes made the horses and oxen very tired. So they had to stop every 3 hours. Each day they'd stop for 3 hours, made the trip longer. The trip lasted for 20 days. A steamboat would stop for 6 hours, and they would make the destination in 20 days. A steamboat only stops to refuel. So that tells you right there that James Watt's invention made transporting cargo a much easier thing to do. This is Olivia Montgomery signing off. This is that awesome steamboat that J. Watt invented to make transporting cargo easier. In the agricultural revolution, scientists were so sexy. They helped invent the things that we probably won't be able to invent nowadays. During this time, they grew crops. The crops were barley, corn, wheat, and oats. One fertilization they used to help grow these crops was turnip. The man who figured this out was called the Turnip King because only he had thought of this. He thought that putting turnips in the ground would fertilize the grass and make the soil rich. Rich soil makes everything better. This is the Turnip King that made everything change. These crops were planted manually. That means that these crops were close together and they had no nutrients, no water, and no sunlight. Most of these crops did not survive during this time. But in 1701, it all changed. The great Jethro Tull made this great invention called the seed drill. The seed drill was, oh my gosh, it was amazing. The seed drill helped make planting seeds easy. It took less time and more plants actually survived during this time. When Jethro invented this, everyone was like praising him. Like that was the best invention anybody could have. This is the seed drill. As the years passed, they got bigger and bigger and more plants were being planted. More survived and more we could eat. These are the way that they look. This is the corn, wheat, and these are the type of rows you would get by using the seed drill. During this Industrial Revolution, you need clothing. They got clothing through the putting out system. The way they did this is by working in their homes. These people were peasants. They had workshops and used multiple craftsmen. These peasants used textiles The textiles was their cloth. They got their textiles from sheep that they would shade down in the spring. What you would get off a sheep is called wool. The wool would then be put into a bale. The bale is what goes into a spinning wheel. The spinning wheel is what thins out the wool to make this beautiful beauty yarn. Yarn is great, guys. It's just great. When you use this yarn and they're put into the spindles, they are taken to factories. When they are taken to the factories, they are then dyed, if not already, and then they dry, and then they're shipped. Our clothing was made from this. Without the invention of the putting out system, the spinning wheel, and the spinning jenny, we wouldn't have clothes. We would probably be butt naked maybe, if that's the case. But after all of this is done, after all this process is done, you get this, more clothing. This clothing is then boxed up and put on a ship. These ships then deport from the docks and they come to us so we can have clothing. This is Olivia Montgomery signing off from the Industrial Revolution.